Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you how to install, set up, and start using the MemberPress ClubDirectory add-on. ClubDirectory enhances your MemberPress website with member profiles and organized directories, so your members can showcase who they are, highlight their expertise, and make connections all right inside your very own MemberPress website, without needing any additional plugins or third-party networking platforms. MemberPress ClubDirectory lets you create protected directories within MemberPress, so you can choose exactly what members get included in what directories. And your members can create their very own customizable profiles complete with photos, bios, achievements, and even contact details. And you have full control over the fields that show up in those profiles. So your directories automatically collect and organize these profiles based on the rules that you define, like membership level, user role, or location, and they stay up to date as members join or leave. So ClubDirectory is part of the MemberPress ClubSuite collection of add-ons, and it works along the add-on ClubCircles. Now this video is going to be focusing on the ClubDirectory add-on, but the ClubCircles add-on works on top of ClubDirectory to bring even more community features to your website. While ClubDirectory enables member profiles and directories, ClubCircles lets you create community groups with private feeds where members can post updates, share wins, collaborate, and connect all on your website. So ClubCircles brings social networking features to your community so members can have custom profiles and join in on discussions within their circles. So be sure to check out our support documentation pages on ClubCircles, which include step-by-step guides and a video tutorial to see how to set that up. But in this video, we're going to be setting up ClubDirectory. Okay, so in this video, first, I'm going to go over how to install the ClubDirectory add-on, configure your settings, and create your very first member directory. Also, one other note, this video is going to be a pretty high-level overview of ClubDirectory, so you can get started creating your community right away. But be sure to check out our extensive support documentation articles on ClubDirectory for much more information and step-by-step guidance. Alright, so before you get started, you'll need to have the MemberPress plugin installed on your WordPress website. Also, you'll need a MemberPress plan that supports the ClubDirectory add-on. You can see if your plan does come with ClubDirectory on our support documentation page on installing and activating ClubDirectory. Okay, so first you need to install the ClubDirectory add-on. To do that, just go to MemberPress here in the left sidebar, and Add-ons. Find ClubDirectory, and click to install and activate it. And then the add-on will be installed on your website. Once it's installed, then you'll see a new menu item added here on the left called ClubSuite. Before we get into setting up profiles and directories, first I'll show you some settings for ClubDirectory. So the first thing is controlling the look and the feel of member profiles and directory pages. So if you go to MemberPress on the left sidebar, and Settings, and then the Ready Launch tab at the top, once you install ClubDirectory, it'll add these toggles for user profiles and directories. If you're not familiar with Ready Launch automatic page styling, see our knowledge base for more information. In short, Ready Launch is MemberPress's pre-built page styles that let you style membership or MemberPress specific pages automatically. So throughout this video, my MemberPress pages are styled with Ready Launch. So depending on if you choose to use Ready Launch, or if you're not using Ready Launch, depending on what theme that you're using, your pages might look different than mine in the video, but all the functionality will be the same. Okay, so if you want to use Ready Launch to style pages relating to ClubDirectory, go ahead and toggle User Profiles and or Directories on like this. So actually, I'm going to toggle Directories on, but for the sake of the video, I'll do User Profiles off just to demonstrate. Then click Update Options to make the styling take effect. And you can also toggle the styling off and on at any time to use or not use Ready Launch. So you don't have to do this in the beginning like I am now, you can do this at any time. Okay, next I'll show you a few of ClubDirectory's specific settings. So going to ClubSuite here on the left, and Settings, here you'll find settings that you can customize for your profiles and directories. Under the General tab, you can specify the maximum size for images that users can upload for their cover photo and profile photo. So you can put a cap on those file sizes in megabytes right here, or you can leave it set to its default numbers, or you can increase it if you want, or decrease it. So just showing a sample profile page for a member real quick on the screen, the cover photo is this larger picture up on top, and the profile photo is this one here. So you can limit the file sizes for those uploads. Okay, back in the settings. On the Profiles tab here, you have some settings that you can configure for user profile. So again, just showing a sample member profile on the screen real quick, the profile page is this page for each member. So each user would get this profile page that they can customize with photos and their information. So these settings pertain to this page. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory, so to save time, I won't go into too much detail, but you can choose how the member's name shows up. First and last name is set by default, but you can choose from the dropdown on how the names actually show up, including letting the user choose. Leaving this toggle on gives your users an option to choose or hide their profile from public view and make it private, and we'll see how that works later. And this toggle gives your users control to hide specific information that shows up in their profile. So again, on this sample profile here on the screen, you see all these information fields. So enabling that toggle that we just saw lets users choose and hide specific fields here. And then back in the settings, if you hover over this tooltip, it tells you which fields they won't be able to hide though, with the display name, cover photo, and profile picture. Okay, next you can modify the profile page slug. So again, on the screen, here's a sample profile page, and the URL right here, the slug for profiles is this section right here, user-profile. So this text, this part of the URL, is the slug that you can modify. Back here in the settings, you can change that here, either with one word or multiple words separated by dashes. Next, you can toggle this on to require admin approval of profile and cover photos that are uploaded by users. So maybe you want to be able to approve all images and make sure that everything's appropriate for your site. You can turn this option on here to do that. So if you enable this, all images uploaded to a user's profile must be approved by you as the site admin, and any unreviewed images will only be visible to the user when they edit their profile, but it won't appear to others when they view that profile. And if you reject an image, they'll be deleted from your website. So for my site, I'll require admin approval so I can show you what this process looks like later in the video when we do a test user signup and profile creation. Okay, next you have settings pertaining to the emails that are sent out when certain things happen regarding profiles. So down here under email settings, you can set the email that will receive the admin emails up here, which can be one email or you can have multiple emails separated by commas. And we'll see what these admin emails are next. And you could also choose a from name and the email that will be used as the sender of emails to your members. Okay, so under email notifications, these are the actual emails that will be sent out when certain actions happen relating to profiles. They're toggled on by default, which means they will be sent out, but you can choose to toggle them off, so in that case, the email won't be sent. So this first email, upload requires approval, gets sent to you as a site admin if you enable this toggle to require admin approval of the profile and cover images. So once someone uploads an image and you need to approve it, this email will be sent to you letting you know. And all these emails are already written for you by default, but you can modify them or just see what they look like by clicking Edit here next to each one. And you could also change what they say right here. So you can see this email sent to you as the admin gives you a handy link to go right to review and approve this particular image. The next two you can edit as well, but upload approved sends an email to the user when their image is approved by the admin, and upload rejected sends an email to the user when their image is rejected by the admin. So if you make any changes to any of the settings or modify any of these emails, just be sure to click Update Options to save any of those changes. Okay, so next you see the Directories tab up here, which has a few settings pertaining to your directories. So first is the slug for directory pages. So on the screen right here, here's a directory page, which shows all the users in this particular directory. So that slug is this text right here in the URL, Directories. So you can change that if you want. Okay, back in the settings, here you can enable this to let your users opt out of certain directories. Enabling this option will allow users to exclude themselves from specific directories. I'm not going to demo this specific feature today, but there's a tooltip here with some more information. Again, on this tab, if you make any changes, just be sure to click Update Options to make them take effect. Okay, so now we'll get into creating profiles and directories. So we'll start with profiles. So to your users or your members, a profile is their individual member showcase. So each profile page is a member's dedicated page where they can share their photo and share information about themselves, which can include any field that you as the admin choose. And by including an email or their social media information, users can invite others to connect and talk with them too. Also, each profile page has a unique URL, which makes them easy to share. So that's what a profile is on the front end for your members. But also, a profile in the back end of ClubSuite for you as the admin refers to the template of how these profile pages show up. So it might be a bit confusing since we're using the same word profile, but to you as the admin working in the back end of your website in the WordPress dashboard, a profile right here refers to the template that you set up for profile pages for your members. And that controls what shows up and the look and feel. So if you go to ClubSuite and Profiles, here you can see all the profiles that you have created and make new ones too. So here on the Profiles page of the ClubSuite add-on, profiles serve as templates that define how member profiles appear and function. So by editing them, you can determine the visual styling, the features, the information fields, and interaction abilities for your members. So each profile that you create here can have a different layout design. It can have different fields, display sections, and styling options. So in practice, depending on what your site is and how your membership levels are structured, you can create different profiles for different membership levels, for example. So you can make it so higher tiered or premium members get more features and can share more information. So right away you see this user profile is already created. So MemberPress creates this by default, which will be applied to all users. So you can use this default profile type as it is, or click here to edit it and add information or modify it to your needs. Also, you can create new profiles too. There are a lot of configurations and uses for multiple profiles, but again, just as a basic example, let's say that you have 2 membership levels on your website, like Basic and Pro. Or for my website here, as an example, I have 2 membership levels that are part of my e-learning and community membership website that teaches people about camping and the outdoors. So those 2 memberships are Explorer and Trailblazer. So Explorer is like my basic tier, the lower tier, and Trailblazer is my Pro tier, the higher tier. So I could have my Explorer members, the lowest tier, get the default user profile, which I'll rename later. But then I can make it so that my Trailblazer members, the higher tier, get assigned to a different higher level profile that I create. So in this type of case, when users qualify for multiple profiles, members will display the profile with the highest priority number, which you can see here in this column. So you can set a higher priority level, say 1, for higher level profiles. This way you can add features to the user's profiles based on their membership level. Also, if a member upgrades to a higher membership level on your website, their profile type will automatically switch. And I'll show you how multiple profile types work later. Okay, so here you have the default user profile MemberPress creates for you. So to edit it, just click on it right here. So this opens up the edit page for the profile template. So all these blocks are customizable, you can move them around, and you'll notice a lot of these block types, like profile name, for example, are specific to profile pages. So you can change this text here on those headers. You can change these icons for the different sections. You can customize those. Also, if you click to highlight a certain block, say like this profile section, for example, over here on the right under the block tab, you'll see some customization options, like the layout of the information fields within it. Here you can modify the design a bit, choose if it has a shadow, a border, or not. You can change the colors of the text, the padding and the margins. You can play with the border and the border radius, and how all that shows up. And you can click to select any other block type here too to see some further options and to customize those as well. Also, if you click here to open up the block inserter, you'll see in the MemberPress section, you can add more sections or elements specific to profile pages. And you see those blocks here. Also, you can add text or images or videos or whatever other block type that you want too. This is really just the Gutenberg editor, so it works about the same as if you're editing a page or post. So you can add all these different blocks, many of them you see on the page already. So say you wanted to add an additional profile section, you can just click on it, like that, and it'll show up here. And you can rearrange it too if you need to. So for example, you could create a bunch of other user information fields that users could fill out either when they sign up for a membership or on their member account page. and then information could show up here. For example, you could create another profile, make it so your higher tiered members only get those profiles, and add a profile section with custom fields just for those higher tiered members to share. And I'm going to show you how to do that later in the video. But for this profile, I'm going to keep it all basic, so I'll get rid of the extra section that I just added. Okay, so just a few more things on this profile edit page. Over here on the right, on the Profile tab, is where you can set the priority level. So again, if you have multiple profiles set up, and a member gets access to the multiple profile types, the one with the highest priority number is what their profile will use. So again, these profiles are like templates, so it'll dictate how their profile page is actually displayed. So I'll set my default user profile here to 0, just like that. And then when I create another profile type for my higher tiered members, I'll set that one to 1, the priority. That way, my Explorer members will use this default user profile, and then my higher tier, my Trailblazer members, will use the new profile type that I create later, since they'll have access to both. But my higher tier profile will have a higher priority of 1, so my Trailblazer membership, they'll use that profile type template to display their profiles. I know all this sounds a little bit confusing. If that doesn't make perfect sense to you now, don't worry, we're going to actually see how this works later, visually. Alright, so you can set your priority number for the profile, and also you can choose to show the post title on your user's profile pages themselves, which is this here, user profile, which you can also change. So actually right now I'm going to rename it to Explorer Profile. So again, Explorer is my lower tiered membership. Okay, so restrict to selected users lets you fine tune exactly who gets to use this profile. We'll see this more when I create my second user profile, but you can restrict using WordPress roles or MemberPress memberships. And one other thing, here on the right under Profile, you can click Reset to wipe any changes that you made, and to also change the layout using a pattern that's available. So these are the different layouts for your profile page. You can modify any of them, or even create your own custom ones too using different block types. But for example, say I choose this one, it'll reset the profile page and give it this different layout. Or I can reset it again and choose the default one, the first one, to revert back to that original layout. So using these patterns, you can choose how the profile page templates are actually laid out. It just gives you a skeleton to work from too if you want to further customize. Alright, so if you make any changes to any of your profiles here in the editor, just be sure to click here to save them. Okay, so now going back to ClubSuite and Profiles. So right now I have that default profile that MemberPress already creates for me with a priority of 0, and I just renamed it here. And no membership levels or permissions are on it at all. So any and all members will automatically use this profile. And generally, I didn't even have to really rename it from user profile. I just did that mostly for this video, just to showcase my 2 memberships, but generally in practice, it probably is a good idea to just leave it set to user profile. So if you create new memberships later, or maybe you decide to have a free membership, or other users or whatever, you could just have that default user profile that's just set as a base profile. I mostly just renamed it for just displaying it in this video to make things simple. But generally speaking, you probably just want to let it sit as the user profile name. So anyway, any and all members will automatically use this profile. But now let's say that I want to make it so my higher tier members, my Trailblazers, use a different profile with more information fields that they can share more information about themselves with. To do that, I would just create a new profile by clicking Add New right here. And when creating a new profile, you can see right away you're prompted to choose one of those patterns that let you choose a pre-made layout for your profile page. So I'll just choose that same classic look that I use in my other profile. And this one I'll name Trailblazer Profile. And I'll leave all these same fields as my default profile, which I renamed Explorer. And over here, I want to set this to be a priority of 1. So if a member gets access to it, this will automatically take priority over my other profile, my Explorer profile. So my Trailblazer members will be put on this profile automatically instead of my other one. And I only have 2 ways to sign up for my site, my Explorer and my Trailblazer, so if somebody signs up for Explorer, they'll automatically be put on the other profile. Alright, so now for this profile, I'll choose Restrict to Selected Users with Membership. And then I'll select my Trailblazer membership. So only my Trailblazer members will use this profile. And my Explorer members, my lower tier, will get put on that other profile. So that's how you do that. Okay, so I'll click Publish to save what I have so far. Like that. And now the next thing I want to do is add 2 new user information fields that my Trailblazer members can share. So let's say in addition to all these, I want to give them a field where they can share a little information about themselves, like an introduction to the community, and then also another field that they can share some of their hobbies. So to add those here, first I need to create some custom fields for those things in my MemberPress settings, so users can fill that information out. So in a new tab here, I'll go back to the WordPress dashboard. And then to create those fields, I'll go to MemberPress and Settings and the Fields tab. So here under Custom Fields, you can create any field that you want where users can type or select things. And then these fields that are filled out by your members can be used to display information on their profile page. So just click the plus sign icon to add a new field. And here in this dropdown, you can collect all kinds of different information in various ways. You could even do something like a checkbox where users select preferences or interests based on different options that you give them. But to keep things simple, I'm going to select text, which is just a text field where they can enter information through text. And then for the name, I'll just say, tell us a little about yourself. And then for each custom field, you can choose to show it on their member account page, which is checked by default. So what the user types will show up in their member account page on their My Profile tab, which MemberPress sets up by default, and every member on your site will have access to it. And they can also choose to fill out this information right on their account page too, and we're going to see that later. Or you can give them the option to fill out this information when they sign up for a membership on the registration page by enabling Show at Sign Up. So when they're purchasing a membership or signing up for your website, when they're actually filling out their information with their username and password and stuff like that, they can actually just fill out this information there. Also, by selecting Required, you can make it so someone has to fill out this field in order to be able to sign up. So that's available to you as well. So for this, I'll just choose to show it both on my account page and at sign up, but I won't require it. So I don't want to create any friction to purchase a membership. I'll just give it as an option that they can fill out. Next, I'll create another text field, and this one will be called Hobbies with the same settings. So what this is doing is creating these custom fields to be able to collect this information from my members. So by creating these fields, I can use them on various places across my website and MemberPress, including on my profile pages. So I'll just click here to save all the fields. And now they're all saved and ready to use. So going back to the edit page of my profile now I can include those fields on this profile. So the information my members, my Trailblazer members, enter for those fields will show up on their profile. So I could add those fields here right under this section, but to just break it up a bit and make it look nicer, I'll go ahead and add another section to the profile. So going to the block inserter, and then adding a profile section just like this. Then I'll rename this to something like About Me. And then you can manually add information fields by just inserting the profile user field block like this. Or you can just use the existing ones and just replace them with your new fields if you want. However you want to build it out. I'm just going to delete all these and then add my new ones. So I'll just go ahead and delete all these fields that came with the profile section, and I'll leave 2 of them there. And then once you have an information field block highlighted like this, here on the right you can choose what field it actually is. So here in the dropdown, you'll find those custom fields that I just created. So I'll go ahead and add those 2 new custom fields that I created. There's one, and there's Hobbies, just like that. And you could choose to show the label or use a custom one too here. And again, you have some further styling customizations that you can make too if you want. Okay, so now I have my new profile that only my Trailblazer members get added to, with 2 custom information fields that will display only for my Trailblazer members, my higher tier. So I'll click here to save all the changes. like that. And then going back to ClubSuite and Profiles, you can see my 2 profile template types right here. And the priority for the Trailblazer profile is set higher, and you can see that it's restricted to only my Trailblazer members. So again, how this is working on my website is that when someone signs up for my Explorer membership, my lower tier, they're automatically assigned to my Explorer profile here. But if they upgrade to my Trailblazer membership, the higher tier, or someone new signs up for my Trailblazer membership, they're put on this profile here, since the priority is higher and I restricted it to my Trailblazer memberships. So as a perk to being a higher tiered member, my Trailblazer members will have those 2 other additional information fields displayed on their profile, which will list their tell us about yourself info and their hobbies. Also right now, you'll notice these profiles are set to public right here. So any profile on your website has a unique URL. So it's just a URL that anyone can go to. So by default, if someone has a URL for a certain member profile, whether they're actually a site member or they're logged in or not, anyone really with that URL for whatever reason can access and view it, technically speaking. But you can create rules that makes it so only certain memberships, for example, can actually see those profile pages that are assigned to your profiles. So just to show you a quick example of this, here is a sample profile that's already on my website. It's a sample user who's a Trailblazer user, and here's their profile page. So here's that URL. So I'm just going to copy this URL. And then in this incognito window in my browser, I'll log out. So now I'm not logged in as any admin user or any member of my website. So an incognito window lets you view your site totally logged out of your administrator user. So it's like you're a brand new site visitor viewing your site. So now, totally logged out of my site in any way, I'll paste that profile URL for the user. And you can see that I can see it. So anyone, logged in or not, who has this URL can see it. But now, and let me close this incognito window. Real quick, if I go to MemberPress in a new tab, and Rules, from the dropdown, you'll see some rule types pertaining to profiles and directories that let you protect them. So let's say I select Profile, and in this field, I'll target my Trailblazer profile, like that. And then set it so only my Explorer members can view it. And then I'll also do membership and Trailblazer. So I want to make it so only my 2 membership levels on my site can actually see the profiles. And then I'll click to save the rule. Now, when I go back to ClubSuite and Profiles and refresh, you see my 2 memberships can see my profiles, and that's it. So now any logged out user or any member without these 2 memberships can't see them. And actually, I could go back and create another rule that targets all my profiles, so only members will actually see any profile on my site. So actually, let me go back into my rule and do that, which will demonstrate how easy it is to save rules and make things flexible on your site. So going to MemberPress and Rules, I'll click to edit that rule. And then instead of this profile type, actually, I'll just set it to all profiles here. And then save the rule. So now any profile on my site is set so only site members, one of my 2 memberships, can view them. So going back to ClubSuite and Profiles, you can see both profile types are only viewable to my members now. So real quick, if I open in a new incognito window now, again, totally logged out of any account or admin account, and then paste that profile URL for that one user, you can see I get my unauthorized access message, which is set up in the MemberPress settings, and this lets me know that they need a membership to access it. So when someone with an active subscription to one of my 2 memberships is logged into my site, they'll be the only ones able to see user profiles. But logged out people or those without an active membership won't be able to see any profile. Okay, so that's profiles in a nutshell. Now, when someone signs up for a new membership on my website, they'll get a profile on my website depending on if they're signed up for my Explorer tier or my Trailblazer tier. And later in this video, after I go over directories, we'll see exactly how this works for members. But first, I want to go over directories now. So, directories are lists of users that automatically organizes and displays a list of member profiles. So member directories are automatically updated collections of member profiles organized by the exact criteria that you set. So for example, when a member upgrades, they instantly appear in the new tier directories while being removed from previous ones too. Also, expired memberships remove profiles from directories, ensuring that only active members appear as well. So here's a sample directory right here on the screen. So it's just a collection, a list of all the member profiles that appear on my website. So you can have just one directory that lists all your members, or you can have as many directories as you want, separated out by whatever criteria you want. So for example, you could have different directories for all site members. You can have membership-specific listings. So for example, I could have a different directory, one for each membership. You can have directories based on geographic locations, or staff showcases if you have users that are on a team or staff members of a business or institution, for example. So there's pretty much endless directory configurations that you can choose to make based on your site or your business. And like I just mentioned, directories are automatically updated too. So directories instantly reflect changes to memberships, new registrants, and profile updates as well. So directories can serve multiple purposes within your MemberPress website. They can be great at facilitating networking by helping members find peers with similar interests. And also, if you want to make directories public, they can encourage new signups even through social proof. Okay, so if you go to ClubSuite and Directories, by default you have an all users directory, which includes all the member profiles included on your site. So you can just use this one directory if you want, or you can create new ones too. And you can create as many as you want, and then have all sorts of different directories for different configurations. Again, I'm going to keep things basic for this video, but see our support docs on ClubDirectory for some more guidance and ideas on some directory configurations that you might want to use. Okay, so to edit this default all users directory, just click on Edit or its name to enter the editor. Okay, so this works in a very similar way to editing profiles like we saw earlier. So I won't go too in depth here, but you can modify specific blocks to suit your needs and modify how your profile listings are laid out. First, here on the right under Directory, you have some directory settings that you can change. So here is where you can set your directory limits, which will define what type of directory this actually is. So you can choose to toggle one of these on, or multiples, to create different types of directories. Some of them I mentioned earlier when I talked about combining, like say memberships and roles, or memberships and locations. So this directory, or any directory that you're creating or editing, will only show members that meet the criteria that you set here with these toggles. So you can filter by role, and then select one or more WordPress or MemberPress related roles that can be assigned to users. So these will only show users who have these roles on this directory. You'll notice some for MemberPress students and coaches, which can come in handy for creating like a class list or a list of coaches for a CoachKit coaching program that you might be running, or again like a class list for a course site using MemberPress courses, for example. You can also choose to only show members that belong to one or more memberships that you have on your website. So this directory will only show those active members. You can choose to only include members for a certain region, so you can select a country, and then even states or provinces or regions within that country. Or again, you can select more than one of these filters and mix and match them to only show users that meet all the criteria, to create all kinds of different directories. So you really have a lot of fine-tuned control over exactly the types of directories that you want to have. Next, you see require a profile picture, which will make it so a user has to upload a profile picture on their profile in order to actually show up in the directory. This makes it sure your directory isn't cluttered with unserious or inactive or spam accounts if those pop up. So this setting will hide all profiles that don't have a profile picture uploaded. Hide title will hide the title, so this name here on the front end view for the directory page itself. And require opt-in, when enabled, will make it so users won't be added to the directory automatically when they sign up. Instead, they need to opt in on their member account page to be displayed in the directory, which I'll show you later when I do a test sign up as a member. So I'll leave all these settings set as they are, since I do want this directory to be all users on my website. But I'll go ahead and set that opt-in just to show you what that looks like too. So a few other options here on the edit page. You see your directory page all built out right here, already listing out some users that I have on my site. So all these are just blocks that you can customize, just like on profile pages. And if you open the block inserter right here, you see some of the block types here that you can use to build from if you want to customize the page further. Now, since most of you are just going to use what's already built, and then maybe customize and tweak a few of these block settings, I won't go too far into creating a completely custom directory page manually using any of these blocks. But you see some here pertaining to directories. And you can hover over each one and see a little explainer about what they are. Alright, here at the top, if you click on this, you can see this block is the directory filters. So it's got a search bar and filter options for how user profile listings are actually displayed on the page to a user viewing it. So if you click the block to select it, you see here on the right, directory filters, and some options that you can set. So you can choose to show or hide the search field, and change the placeholder text in that field to give instructions. And this here, which we'll see later on the front end, gives a bunch of different options for filtering. So someone can say, come to this user directory, but use this filter option on the front end when they're viewing it to only show users that have certain locations that they select, have a certain role, a membership, and whatever else that you select here. So here you can leave all these options for users to filter by, or toggle them off and get rid of that filter option if you want. And Show Layout option will hide these buttons here that let the user change this sort of grid or list view on the front end. So toggle this off if you don't want users to be able to change the listing view. Also, right here under Styles, you have some options to fine-tune the look and feel of it. The filter block, that is, up here. This is more of an advanced customization that most users won't use, but it's here if you need it. Okay, actually, going to the parent block of all these blocks by selecting that here is the block for directory users, which controls how all the user profile previews actually show up, which are these here. And again, if you select that block like I did here, you have some options here on the right. You can limit the number of users that display per page. And you can see there's page numbers here at the bottom where people can show more. And you can choose in what order the user profiles actually show up based on whatever criteria is being filtered by, or none. So this can be the registration date, meaning the user's registration date, their display name, or their user login name, aka username. And you can choose to show them in descending or ascending order. Also, you can change how many columns there are. By default, it shows 2 profile previews on each row, but you can change that, though for most sites, it'll probably look best leaving it set to 2. And one last block item, if you click around in the actual card that displays individual user profile listings, you'll see options for those individual things. So for the card, you can add more columns, or choose to stack on mobile or not. Clicking here, you can change the photo size that appears. And then you can also choose to have the image clickable or not to go to that user's profile. The name format that shows up on the link option. How items in this block appear and line up, the social buttons, and the button. Here you can choose what exact social icons to show for users. So your users can actually add their social media handles in their profiles, which we'll see later, and then you can choose what icons are actually displayed. And you can even fine-tune the icon size and the style. And the View Profile button, you can customize the style of that too if you need to. So you have a ton of control of how your listings appear. Also, one other thing, you can really customize the profile cards too. If you open up the document overview, this icon here, and the list view for the blocks on the page, if you click the column above whatever selection that you want within the user profile card, like this one here, you can see this plus sign icon that will let you add additional blocks, which can literally be whatever WordPress or directory block that you want. So for example, let's say here under the View Profile button, for whatever reason, I wanted to add an image. So I can just select Image, and then choose my image from my media library, and resize it. And you can see it adds it under every single profile listing. So any change that you make applies to all of them on the page. But I'll just go ahead and get rid of that image and undo that. Okay, so that's the gist of editing a directory page. So on my site, I'm just going to leave my all user directory set to its defaults, so everyone is automatically included and listed in it. All right, so now going back to ClubSuite and Directories, I'll create a new one by clicking Add New. So now I'm going to create a new directory and give you a basic example of what creating a membership-specific directory is like. So mine's going to be really simple. I'm just going to create a directory that lists my higher tier members, my trailblazers. But again, you can create all sorts of different types of directories with location, user roles, different memberships, multiple memberships, and combine multiple of any of those to make any type of niche directory that you want. But for my directory, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to name it Campfire Collective Trailblazers. And I'm going to leave all the stylings and settings and filters set as they are by default. But for the directory as a whole, I'm going to come over here under Directory on the right, and under Directory Settings, toggle Filter by Membership on. And then I'll select my Trailblazer membership. And then I'm going to make sure that opt-in toggle's on, so members won't just be automatically added to the directory, they'll have to opt in. I'm mostly enabling this because I want to show you what it looks like on the front end with this opt-in option on. But toggling this off could make sure that all my higher tiered members get included to the directory without any manual work from them. So it's all up to you about how you want your directory to work. And also the cool thing is that this directory system is all automatic too, completely if you don't choose the opt-in option. But just one little note here, if you do want members to have to opt in, you'll have to provide them with instructions somewhere on their member account page or welcome email, or however you stay in touch with new members, telling them to go into their account page and the Directories tab to click opt in. But if you don't want to bother with the opt-in, they'll automatically just be added to whatever directories they meet the criteria for. So they'll be added to whatever directories they need to be listed on without any manual effort from you. Also, membership changes trigger automatic updates to directories too. So when members upgrade, for example, they instantly appear in new tier directories while being removed from previous ones. And we'll see a little preview of that later. Also, expired memberships remove profiles from directories, making sure that only active members appear. Alright, so once I make sure this directory is only for my Trailblazer membership, and I choose that opt-in option, I'll click here to publish to the directory and save it. Once that's done, now, back on the Directories page of the add-on, I see my two directories. Also, each directory has its own unique URL that's generated when you save it. So if you hover over View, or just click to view it, you could see those URLs for those directories here. And again, this directory slug you can modify the text for in the settings. So you can copy these and use them on your site wherever you want. You can use them in emails that you send out, etc. So that's how you create and customize your member profile templates and directories. Again, that covers most of what you need to know, but be sure to check out our support documentation articles on ClubDirectory for a lot more information about setting up directories or profiles, or about any of the settings that you might have seen so far. Okay, so now I'm going to sign up to my site as a test member and show you a basic view of what it looks like when a member sets up their profile, and how they get added to directories, and how they can view directories. So I'll open up my site in a new incognito window, so it's like I'm a brand new site visitor viewing my site, totally logged out of my admin account again. And then I'll go to sign up here, and you can see my website's a sample membership website and community website for teaching people how to camp and get outdoors. And then you can see my memberships. So I'm going to sign up first for my lower tiered membership, my Explorer. And then I'll fill out the registration form with some testing data. Like this. And then you'll notice these two fields for tell us about yourself and hobbies. Now, if you remember, this information will only show up for my higher tiered members, my Trailblazers, on their profiles. But I'm going to collect it anyway from my Explorer members. You can customize your registration page within MemberPress, so maybe I just wanted to hide these fields altogether from this Explorer membership, the registration page like this, but then have them show up on my Trailblazer membership registration page. I could totally do that. It just all depends on how you want your membership experience to work. So by collecting this for my Explorer members, in this case, I get that information anyway, so if they do choose to upgrade to my Trailblazer membership, they'll automatically have that information in their account. They won't have to manually do it later. Alright, so I'll fill out those as my test sign up, the introduction, and then I'll type some hobbies, just like that. And then I'll finish the rest of the sign up with some test payment information details right here. And then click sign up. And then you can see the sign up went through. So the user is now a user and has an account on my website, and they're logged in. And again, just a note, all my MemberPress and membership related pages are styled with the built-in Ready Launch page styling on my website, so your site might look a little bit different if you have Ready Launch styling disabled and are using a theme or page builder instead. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so up here, this user that just made the purchase and are logged in can access their account page on my website, right here. And then here on their My Profile page of the account page, so this is not to be confused with their actual profile on the directory. It's what this main tab or the main page of the member account page here is called, which you can see right here. So again, this is their member account page. So they can see all those responses that they typed out for their hobbies and their information, and they can actually edit those responses here too. Or if you didn't require those responses for sign up, or don't want to show those fields at sign up, or the user just didn't fill them out if you don't have them set to be required or whatever, they can come in here and fill it out for their public profile. So you can instruct your members through an email onboarding sequence or something on how to do that. Which that reminds me of another good point. So once you set all this up technically here like we're going over in the video, you'll want to clearly communicate these instructions depending on how you set up your profiles and directories to make sure that your members know how to use their profiles. So just having profiles and directories can be a really good selling point of your website, so you want to make sure that they know how to use it. It could be as simple as making them aware of it and pointing them to the Directories tab here of their account page, especially if they're being added automatically to everything. Or you can give them a link to get to their profiles or show them how to edit them, however you want to do it. You can do this by editing the welcome email on the emails tab of the MemberPress settings, which is sent out to members when they sign up, so you can add your instructions there. You could also create sort of an email onboarding sequence on the reminders page of the MemberPress plugin. So you can send out multiple emails over, say, days or weeks or whatever after they sign up for certain memberships, so you can kind of guide them that way to show them how to set up their profiles. Or you can also integrate your third-party email marketing solution too. So it's all up to you about how you want to communicate to your members that their profiles and their user directories are here and part of their membership. Okay, so once you install ClubDirectory, this Directories page is added to the member account page. So right now they have the option to be added to my All Users directory. Again, not my second directory, my Trailblazer directory, because remember this user doesn't have my highest tier, the Trailblazer membership. They're only on the Explorer membership. And next to the All User directory, you'll notice an opt-in button. Because I set that setting on my directory, making users opt in to be listed. If you have that turned off in the settings on the directory page, they'll just automatically be added here. So as this test user, I'll go ahead and opt in, just like that. And they're added, and you can see this text right here. You are visible in this directory. And then now they can click to view to open up this directory. And here it is. And you'll see here I have a bunch of other test users already signed up and added to my directories, which you can all see right here, just for demonstration purposes. And here you see all those search and the filter and the display options that we saw earlier when on the edit page for the directory. So your users can change it to a list view and display the view like this, or they can go back to the grid view. And they have all those filter options to choose what criteria of profiles to show and list out. And again, they can just search for whoever they're looking for, and it shows people with that name that they just typed, for example. And if they click on an individual profile, they can see that user's profile information. So that includes their contact info, the fields for their information, the responses that they might give in those custom fields, and also their social media accounts that the user added to their profile. And of course, their profile picture and the cover photo, which can be uploaded. So if this test user clicks View Profile under their own name, just like that, they can get to their profile and edit it. Also, each profile page has a unique URL. So this is that test user's URL for their individual profile page. So here they can click this camera icon and upload their profile photo. So I'll go ahead and do that with a simple photo. And then crop it, just like that. And crop and save. And you can see it places it on the profile, but it's got this little orange icon to let them know that the photo is still up for approval and it needs to be approved. Because remember, I changed that setting in the ClubSuite settings to require approval for all uploads. And we'll see what the approval process looks like for you as a site admin in a bit. And also this user can change their cover photo too, by clicking here, and then they just select a photo, and it inserts it. And they can see that cover photo is pending approval too. Also, if they click this pencil icon next to their name, they have more things that they can change and add. They can make their profile private, which again is a setting that you can choose to allow them or disallow them to do. And again, that's under ClubSuite, Settings, and the Profiles tab. And it's that toggle for allow users to hide their profiles. So mine and my settings are toggled on, which is why this user has this option. They can change their name that shows up, their location, so maybe they want to be more specific with it, where they're from, like that. And they could add a website. So I'll type one in, which has to include the HTTP or HTTPS in it to make it a valid link. And then I'll click to save it. And you can see that information updated, and this globe icon has been added, which links out to their website. So clicking that pencil again, they can also add their social media links. So they can select which social media accounts that they want to add, like maybe these, and then here, paste all their links in. So real quick, I'm just going to fill these out with some sample links right here, which are all fake, but will work for the demo here. So if these are real links to someone's socials out there, sorry, I'm just totally making these up. So this has nothing to do with these people that are in these links, that these are actual links. These are just for demo purposes only. So I added them here, just like that. And now you can see those social icons are added to their profile page. So this is this user's public-facing profile page on my membership site, and she'll be added to whatever directories that I chose. So other members can find this user in those directories, read a little bit about them, connect with them on socials or with either email, visit their website, do whatever they want. Also, these profiles come really into play when you install the ClubCircles add-on, which lets you create full interactive groups and group feeds where members can post and respond and interact with each other. So more on that later. Okay, so this user has customized their profile and are just waiting for approval on their images. So going back to WordPress as my site administrator user now. So for here, from the WordPress dashboard, under ClubSuite, you'll notice the menu item that was added under the add-on Approve Uploads. So this gets added when you enable here in the settings for ClubSuite and the Profiles tab, this option here to require admin approval, which I enabled earlier in the video, if you remember. So back to Approve Uploads, you can see all my past approvals or rejections, and the new ones that the test user just uploaded are right here. So you, as the admin, can just click the image preview here to view it full screen, or rather a larger picture of it, and then you can either approve or reject it. Rejecting it will just delete the image, and approving it will make it approved. Which, going back real quick to the directories, and opening up a directory here, if you have the setting to require a profile picture, once you approve someone's photo and it's added to their profile, they'll be added to the directory. So if you have the setting turned on, but someone's waiting for approval or is rejected, they won't be added to the directory until that approval happens. So back to ClubSuite and Approve Uploads. I'll go ahead and approve both those pictures for that user. And I can see instantly that they're approved. And one other thing also, under ClubSuite, Settings, Profiles tab, and Email Notifications. Remember, if these are left turned on, the user will get an email notifying them that their cover photo or their profile photo was approved, or denied if you deny it. And also, once someone uploads images and they need approval, you as the admin here will get this email notifying you that you need to go in and approve it. So you don't have to come in here and constantly keep checking for new approvals, you'll get a reminder email automatically. And on screen, here's what that email looks like by default. So it just lets you know that there is a pending approval, and it's got this link that goes right to the Approve Uploads page of ClubSuite where you can click Approve or Deny. Okay, so once the images are approved, I'll go back to that incognito window logged in as my test user and their profile. I'll hit refresh, and you can see they've been approved. And then now here they can change profile pictures or cover images if they want, and those will have to be approved as well if they change them. And you can see, going back to that directory, their profile photo shows up now in the listing, as well as those social icons, which you can select what actual social media icons will show up here on the profile cards on the directory listing when editing that specific directory, which we showed earlier in the video. So it won't just show every single icon that they add, it'll only show the ones that you configured to show on the directory listings page. And here's what it looks like in list view. And back to the grid view. All right, so one last thing I want to show you is that members only directory that I created earlier for my highest tier, my Trailblazer members. So as this test user, I'll go back to their account page, go to their subscriptions, and then here under their Explorer subscription, I'll click Change Plan. And then as the user, I'll upgrade to my Trailblazer membership. And then go through the process of upgrading here real quick. And then I see it went through. So now under subscriptions, you can see that they now have an active subscription to my Trailblazer membership. So now they should be added to that other directory that I created that's only for my Trailblazer members. So going to Directories, here it is. And they can opt in like that. And now they're part of that directory. And that's how you set up user profiles and directories with MemberPress ClubDirectory. Again, be sure to check out our support documentation articles on ClubDirectory for a lot more detailed references as you set up your directories. Also, you probably don't want to stop here. Most likely, you'll want to use this alongside our ClubCircles add-on to create thriving community groups and discussion feeds. With the ClubCircles add-on, you can create private discussion boards where members can post updates, share wins, and collaborate all inside your website. And mixed with their member profiles as they're posting and sharing, members can really see who else is using your site along with them along common interests, and learn about them through their profiles, and even reach out and connect directly with the contact information that they share. So be sure to watch our video tutorial on ClubCircles, which will be a continuation of this video, to see how to set up your own community groups alongside your directories and user profiles. Also, we have some great support documentation articles on ClubCircles to help you along the way. Before you go, be sure to follow the MemberPress blog and YouTube channel for all of our latest tips and tricks on all things MemberPress and membership websites. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos that makes getting MemberPress up and running a breeze.